This is Wake and Bake with Reverend Dr. Kim. This time we're exploring a doozy. This question came to me again and again in so many different forms. I hear you. You want to know about narcissists. It's a huge buzzword these days, getting thrown around much more than it should be, but at the same time, appropriately in far too many instances. This is going to be a long one, and I've got lots to say about this, so forgive me as I inevitably jump around a little, getting it all out. But here we go. Let's begin by understanding what narcissism is and its impact on relationships. Narcissism is a personality disorder characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a need for excessive admiration, and a lack of empathy. Narcissists often display grandiose behaviors, manipulation tactics, and a relentless desire for control. They can be charming and charismatic on the surface, but beneath the facade lies a deep-seated need for validation and an inability to truly connect with others on an emotional level. Identifying a narcissist can be tricky. They can be highly skilled at masking their true intentions. But there's some common traits and behaviors that can raise some red flags. Look for patterns of self-centeredness, a sense of entitlement, an excessive need for admiration, and a tendency to belittle or devalue others. Pay attention to how they react when their superiority is challenged or when their flaws are exposed. These signs can really help you to discern their narcissistic tendencies. And these relationships, this goes beyond romantic relationships too. We meet narcissists in all aspects of life. In school, the workplace, our governments, our entertainment industry, friends, bosses. Living with a narcissistic parent can be incredibly challenging and leave lasting emotional scars that continue to affect us right through adulthood. Anyone who's grown up with a narcissistic parent knows that this often means being criticized, belittled, invalidated. The parent may have consistently prioritized their own needs and desires over yours, leaving you feeling neglected or invisible. And that's really two of the worst things that we can do to a child. It really is. They may have exhibited a sense of entitlement, expecting you to meet their emotional needs without reciprocating or acknowledging your own. Examples of living with a narcissistic parent can manifest in so many ways. You might have experienced constant gaslighting, where your experiences and emotions were invalidated or twisted to serve their narrative. They may have used manipulation tactics, like guilt tripping, emotional blackmail, to keep control over you. In some cases, they may have even resorted to emotional, verbal, physical abuse to maintain their dominance. As adults, the effects of growing up with a narcissistic parent can continue to impact our lives. We might find ourselves struggling with low self-esteem, self-doubt, a constant need for external validation. We might have difficulty setting boundaries, asserting our own needs, as our childhood experiences taught us that our needs were inconsequential or unworthy of attention. In our interactions with a narcissistic parent as adults, we might still face manipulative behaviors. They might still attempt to guilt trip us into meeting their demands or use emotional tactics to maintain control. They might continue to dismiss or invalidate our emotions and experiences, refusing to take responsibility for their actions. Healing from trauma bonds associated with narcissistic parents, and we'll talk about this more soon, requires immense strength and self-reflection. It's important to acknowledge the impact of these experiences on our lives and to seek support from therapists, support groups, trusted friends who can provide validation, understanding, and guidance. Creating distance, both physically and emotionally, from the narcissistic parent can be crucial for our well-being. It might involve setting firm boundaries, limiting contact, or even considering no contact if the relationship continues to be toxic and detrimental to our mental health. Healing from the trauma bonds formed with narcissistic relatives is a process that takes time, self-compassion. It's essential to surround ourselves with supportive networks, people who understand our experiences and can provide the empathy and the validation that we need. To understand how a narcissist is made, we need to explore the complex interplay of factors that contribute to the development of this personality disorder. While it's important to remember that not every person who exhibits narcissistic traits will develop full-blown narcissism, let's delve into some of the contributing factors here. Early experiences play a significant role in shaping personality development. Narcissists often grow up in environments where their emotional needs are not adequately met. This can include inconsistent parental attention, excessive praise or criticism, or a lack of healthy boundaries. These early experiences can lead to a fragile sense of self and a constant need for validation. Some narcissists are raised by parents who place extreme emphasis on achievement, success, and superiority. They may constantly pressure their children to meet unrealistic standards, which can result in an intense drive to prove themselves and seek constant external validation. Emotional neglect or abuse can leave lasting scars on a child's self-esteem and emotional well-being. If a child's emotional needs are consistently disregarded or invalidated, they may develop defense mechanisms like adopting narcissistic traits to protect themselves from further harm. Narcissistic traits can be learned through observation and imitation too. If a child grows up witnessing narcissistic behaviors in their family or social environment, they might internalize these patterns and just adopt them as their own. It's important to note that while these factors contribute to the development of narcissism, they don't excuse or justify abusive or manipulative behavior. They don't. Ultimately, each individual is responsible for their actions and their choices regardless of their upbringing. Understanding how a narcissist is made can help us have compassion for their underlying wounds and insecurities, but it's equally important to prioritize our own well-being and set healthy boundaries in relationships with narcissistic individuals. Understanding the different types of narcissists can help us recognize their traits and behaviors, enabling us to navigate relationships more effectively. While there's various classifications, we're going to explore 3 common types now of narcissists. We're going to start with a grandiose narcissist. This type, they exhibit an exaggerated sense of self-importance and superiority. They constantly seek admiration and validation, boasting about their achievements and talents. Grandiose narcissists have a grandiose sense of entitlement, believing they're special, they're deserving of special treatment. They can be charismatic and charming. They really can, initially drawing others in with their confident demeanor. But beneath the surface, there's a deep-seated need for constant attention, constant validation. We've got the covert narcissist. So unlike the grandiose narcissist, the covert narcissist displays more subtle traits. They tend to be more hypersensitive, easily offended, projecting a persona of victimhood. Covert narcissists manipulate others through pity-seeking and passive-aggressive behaviors. They might appear insecure and fragile, but behind their facade, there just lies a need for power and control. It can be really challenging to identify covert narcissists due to their ability to play the victim and evade accountability for their actions. And then we have the malignant narcissist. This group represents an extreme form of narcissistic personality disorder. They have the combined traits of narcissism with antisocial, sadistic, paranoid tendencies. Malignant narcissists are highly manipulative, lacking empathy, and often engaging in malicious behavior to satisfy their desires for power and control. They derive pleasure from causing harm to others. They might exhibit aggressive, abusive behaviors. Recognizing a malignant narcissist is crucial for protecting oneself from potential harm. Spotting a narcissist can be really challenging. They can be skilled at masking their true intentions. But there's some common signs that can help identify them. Excessive self-focus, self-centeredness, lack of empathy, an inability to consider other people's feelings, constant need for admiration, validation, manipulative, controlling behaviors, difficulty accepting criticism or taking responsibility for their actions, and exploitive tendencies and a sense of entitlement. If you think someone might be a narcissist, it's really essential to trust your instincts and observe patterns of behavior over time. Step back, observe. Keeping in mind also that not all individuals who display some narcissistic traits have narcissistic personality disorder, but their behaviors can still be challenging to navigate. Now, it's essential to recognize the dynamic between a narcissist and an empath or a codependent. Empaths and codependents, with their compassionate and selfless nature, often become targets for narcissistic individuals. The empath's natural inclination to care for others and ability to see the good in everyone can be exploited by the narcissist, creating a toxic and imbalanced relationship. Being an empath and a codependent most often go hand in hand, and unfortunately, they can create a perfect storm when entangled with a narcissist. Let's take a minute to explore how these two traits can intersect and contribute to the dynamics of a toxic relationship. Empaths are highly sensitive individuals who possess a deep capacity to understand and feel the emotions of others. They have a natural inclination to nurture and support those around them. Codependents are individuals who excessively prioritize the needs of others over their own, often at the expense of their own well-being. See how they go together, how they're really one and the same. The terms can be used interchangeably. Of course, codependency will form when you can feel the emotions and the energy of another so profoundly, right? Of course, you're going to want to control the environment and situations so that it feels better, so that it feels safe. This is what codependency is. Not being clingy and dependent on each other the way that the term is often misused. Codependents want peace at all costs. So they control and create an environment, tiptoeing and eggshell walking and cleaning up messes before they're discovered or before they even happen, to ensure that feeling of safety or false security. Narcissists, with their insatiable need for admiration and control, can be drawn to empaths and codependents like a magnet. Here's why. Empaths have an innate ability to sense the emotions and vulnerabilities of others, which makes them attractive to narcissists. They provide a steady source of emotional validation and supply to the narcissist's ego. Empaths' empathetic and nurturing qualities are seen as valuable and exploitable by the narcissist. Codependents, with their excessive need to please and care for others, often find themselves in relationships where they sacrifice their own well-being for the sake of the narcissist. The narcissist's manipulative tactics play into the codependent's desire to be needed and validated, creating an unhealthy cycle of enabling and dependency. This dynamic becomes a breeding ground for toxicity, as the empath or codependent's compassionate nature is exploited and manipulated by the narcissist. The narcissist's relentless need for control and admiration further erodes the empath or codependent's self-esteem and independence. Recognizing and addressing this pattern, again, is crucial for healing and breaking free from this cycle. There's a couple strategies. You want to understand your empathetic and codependent tendencies. Recognize when your empathy is being exploited. Establish clear boundaries to protect your emotional well-being. You want to prioritize self-care, nurture your own needs, validate your own emotions and worth rather than relying solely on external validation from the narcissist. You want to reach out to friends that you trust, family, professionals who can provide guidance and support. You really do want to surround yourself with people who understand your journey and can offer perspectives, objective perspectives. You want to gradually detach from the narcissist's control, seek independence. Focus on reclaiming your own identity and cultivating a sense of self that's separate from the toxic relationship. Being an empath or a codependent is not a flaw or a weakness. It's a testament to your capacity to love and care deeply. But it's essential to channel that compassion toward yourself as well. Now we're going to move on to trauma bonds. Let's start by understanding what they are and how those form. There's a lot of misinformation about these dynamics too. A trauma bond is not a bond over a traumatic event or a sharing of a traumatic experience. It's not what that is. Trauma bonds are intense emotional attachments that develop between an individual and someone who has caused them significant pain or harm. It may sound paradoxical, but trauma bonds often occur in abusive or toxic relationships. These bonds form due to a combination of factors. The cycle typically begins with what's known as love bombing. And that's when the abuser showers their victim with excessive attention, flattery, affection, creating an intense emotional connection. They create an illusion of love, making the victim feel special and desired. But this intense affection is often manipulative. It's a tactic used to gain control. Once the victim becomes emotionally invested, the abuser begins to exert control and engage in abusive behavior. This roller coaster of love and abuse creates a powerful emotional bond that's really difficult to break. The victim becomes trapped in a cycle of hope, fear, dependence on the abuser. Patterns and signs of trauma bonds can vary, but there are common indicators to watch out for. Victims often find themselves making excuses for their abuser's behavior, rationalizing or minimizing the harm caused. They may feel an intense need for the abuser's approval, constantly seeking validation and fearing rejection. And what this is intermittent reinforcement. This is a behavioral principle that involves providing rewards or punishments on an unpredictable or irregular basis rather than consistently. This concept is often associated with psychology and behaviorism, particularly in the field of operant conditioning. In the context of relationships, intermittent reinforcement refers to a pattern of inconsistent and unpredictable positive or negative behaviors from one person toward another. This pattern can create a powerful psychological effect, leading to a stronger attachment and a sense of dependency on the person administering the reinforcement. When rewards or punishments are given intermittently rather than consistently, it can create a state of uncertainty and then anticipation. This uncertainty increases the emotional arousal and attention of the person experiencing it. It becomes difficult to predict when the next reward or punishment will occur, leading to heightened focus on the person providing the reinforcement. Researchers have studied intermittent reinforcement with rats to understand this impact on behavior. In a typical experiment, rats are placed in a controlled environment, a Skinner box usually. It's a small chamber where rats' behavior can be monitored and controlled. The rats are then trained to perform a specific behavior, like pressing a lever, pushing a button, to receive a reward, usually in the form of food pellets. Initially, the rats receive a food pellet each time they press the lever, which is referred to as continuous reinforcement. But experimenters gradually shift to intermittent reinforcement by providing rewards only after a certain number of presses and then at unpredictable intervals. This introduces uncertainty into the process, and the rats can no longer predict when they will receive a reward. What they found is that the rats tend to exhibit persistent and motivated behavior in search of the reward. They don't give up, they get obsessed. When it becomes less frequent or inconsistent, obsessed, this behavior is known as extinction burst, where the subject intensifies their efforts in response to the intermittent reinforcement. Obsessed, right? The power of intermittent reinforcement lies in its ability to maintain the behavior of the subject, even in the absence of consistent rewards. It creates a sense of hope and anticipation, making the animal or person more determined to continue seeking the desired outcome. In relationships, the concept of intermittent reinforcement can be applied to situations where an abuser or manipulator alternates between positive and negative behaviors. The victim may receive affection, love, or kindness intermittently, which makes them more likely to tolerate and remain attached to the abuser, hoping for a return to the positive reinforcement they experienced in the past. Bring it back. So harmful, right? Here come the feelings of confusion, anxiety, dependency. Recognizing these patterns, again, and seeking support from trusted sources can be so crucial for individuals involved in these relationships. And now we're going to delve into the science behind trauma bonds. What's actually happening here biochemically? When we experience love bombing or any intense emotional connection, our brain releases higher levels of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This flood of dopamine creates a euphoric feeling, reinforcing the bond. Simultaneously, cortisol, the stress hormone, is released in response to abusive behavior, causing anxiety and fear. These alternating highs and lows create a biochemical addiction within the brain, leading to a strong attachment to the abuser. But here's the key. Just as trauma bonds can form through neural pathways, we can also create new pathways to heal and break free from these cycles. It requires conscious effort and a commitment of self-care and self-love. By consciously redirecting our focus and engaging in positive activities that promote well-being, we can rewire our brains and establish healthier patterns. Surrounding ourselves with supportive friends, seeking professional help, these can aid in healing in the healing process. It's important to remember that breaking a trauma bond can lead to withdrawal symptoms, actual withdrawal symptoms, similar to the withdrawal experienced when quitting a substance addiction. Dopamine levels drop, causing feelings of sadness, depression, even physical discomfort. This is why self-care becomes crucial during this period. Engaging in activities that bring joy and nurturing ourselves with healthy habits, it helps us to rebuild our emotional well-being. Breaking free from a trauma bond is not easy. It takes time, patience, courage. It starts with recognizing the signs of an unhealthy relationship and acknowledging that the bond formed is not based on genuine love and respect. Once we have this awareness, seeking support, again, it's crucial. Reach out to trusted friends, family, therapists who can provide a safe space to share your experiences and your feelings. Professional help can offer so much guidance and techniques to help navigate this healing journey for you. As you begin your process of healing, it's essential to prioritize self-care. This means taking care of our physical, emotional, and mental well-being, engaging in activities that bring us joy and relaxation, like mindfulness, meditation, engaging in creative pursuits. It can be incredibly healing. In addition to self-care, setting boundaries is crucial. Recognize your worth. Establish clear boundaries that protect your emotional and physical safety. It may be challenging at first, but learning to say no to an abusive behavior and toxic pattern is a powerful step toward reclaiming your power, creating a healthier future. As you embark on this journey, it's important to remember and understand the role of dopamine and cortisol in our recovery. Dopamine levels may initially drop, leading to feelings of emptiness and sadness. This is a natural part of the withdrawal process, and it's important not to mistake these feelings as a sign that you need to return to the abusive relationship. Instead, focus on rebuilding your dopamine levels in healthy ways. Activities that bring you genuine pleasure and fulfillment, pursuing hobbies, spending time with loved ones, exploring new interests. Gradually, your brain will begin to rewire itself, forming new neural pathways that prioritize your well-being and your happiness. Those are the dopamine levels. Managing cortisol levels is crucial too during the healing process. Chronic stress caused by trauma bonds can have detrimental effects on our physical and mental health. Explore stress reduction techniques like deep breathing exercises, yoga, engaging in regular physical exercise. These practices not only help regulate cortisol levels, but also promote overall well-being and resilience. Healing from trauma bonds is not a linear process. It's normal to experience setbacks and moments of doubt. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Surround yourself with a supportive network. You need friends, family, support groups who understand the complexities of trauma bonds and can provide encouragement for you along the way. It's important because there's more we need to talk about. There's more that often goes on with all this. We're going to talk about the dissonance that takes place now. All this can lead you to a state of such confusion where you start questioning your own reality. The manipulative tactics employed by the narcissist can make you doubt your perceptions, your memories, and even your own identity. This phenomenon is known as cognitive dissonance, gaslighting. Gaslighting is a psychological manipulation technique used by narcissists to make their victims doubt their sanity, perception, and judgment. They may twist the truth, deny their actions, or reinterpret events to fit their narrative, leaving you feeling disoriented and questioning your own experiences. Over time, this constant gaslighting erodes your self-confidence and makes it increasingly difficult to trust your own instincts and judgment. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious manipulation tactics used by narcissists. It's a form of psychological abuse where they distort your reality, making you question your own sanity and perception of events. Recognizing gaslighting is the first step to breaking free from its grip. Trust your intuition, keep a journal of incidents, and seek validation from trusted friends or professionals, again, who can provide an objective perspective for you. Gaslighting is a deeply manipulative tactic used by narcissists and toxic individuals to distort your reality, making you question your own perceptions and sanity. It's a form of psychological abuse, and it can leave lasting scars. Understanding gaslighting is crucial for recognizing and navigating it effectively. Gaslighting often starts subtly, with the abuser subtly undermining your confidence and altering your sense of reality. They may deny or downplay your experiences, emotions, your memories, leaving you feeling confused or doubting your own judgment. There's some common signs and effects of gaslighting. Number 1, denial and invalidating. The gaslighter denies your reality, dismisses your emotions, and undermines your experiences. They may say things like, "You're overreacting. You're too sensitive." This makes you doubt your own perceptions and questions the validity of your feelings. Number 2, manipulative distortions. Gaslighters twist and manipulate facts to suit their agenda. They may selectively omit information, lie, or change the narrative to confuse and control you. This leaves you feeling disoriented and uncertain about what's true. 3, creating doubt. Gaslighters make you doubt your memory and perception of events. They may say, "That never happened," or "You're imagining things." And over time, this can erode your confidence and make you rely on the gaslighter's version of reality. 4, projection. Gaslighters project their own flaws, insecurities, and behaviors onto you. They accuse you of things that they're actually guilty of, deflecting attention away from themselves and causing you to question your own character. 5, isolation. Gaslighters often isolate you from friends, family, and support systems, making you more dependent on them. They may criticize and belittle your loved ones, creating a divide and making you question the intentions of those who care about you. So how do you navigate gaslighting when it's happening? I've got a few strategies. Trust your instincts. Your intuition is powerful. If something feels off or manipulative, trust that feeling. Validate your own experiences and emotions, even if the gaslighter tries to convince you otherwise. Educate yourself. Understanding gaslighting and its tactics empowers you to recognize them. Learn about healthy communication, boundaries, and assertiveness to build your resilience and self-confidence. Seek support. Reach out to trusted friends. I keep saying this, but trusted friends, trusted family, a therapist who can provide a reality check and support. They can offer an objective perspective and validate your experiences. Keep a journal. Keep a journal of instances where you feel gaslighted. Writing down specific incidents helps you maintain clarity and provides evidence to counteract the gaslighter's distortions. Establish and enforce healthy boundaries with the gaslighter. Limit your interactions, detach emotionally, prioritize your well-being. Remember, it's not your responsibility to change or convince them of their behavior. Focus on self-care practices that promote your well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy. Practice mindfulness. Prioritize your mental and emotional health. Seek therapy to heal from the effects of gaslighting and regain your self-worth. You're not alone in this. Gaslighting can be incredibly damaging, but by recognizing the signs, educating yourself, seeking support, you really can regain your sense of self and navigate the path to healing. Stay strong, trust your truth, and remember that your reality matters. You deserve to be seen, heard, validated. So just to kind of recap a little here. The trauma bonds formed in narcissistic relationships further contribute to this confusion. These bonds are powerful emotional attachments that develop in response to intermittent reinforcement of both positive and negative experiences with the narcissist. The periods of love bombing, where the narcissist showers you with affection and attention, create an intense emotional connection. But these moments are followed by devaluation, where they belittle, criticize, or emotionally abuse you. This cycle creates a psychological dependency, making it harder to break free from the relationship. And as a result, you might find yourself constantly oscillating between feeling trapped in the toxic relationship and desperately longing for the moments of affection and validation. This inner conflict creates a cognitive dissonance, where your beliefs and experiences clash, leaving you in a state of confusion and emotional turmoil. Reclaiming your true self and identity requires a process of sorting through fact and fiction. It involves untangling the web of manipulation, gaslighting, and distorted narratives created by the narcissist. A couple of steps here. Validate your experiences. Seek support. Educate yourself. Establish boundaries. Focus on self-care. Challenge negative beliefs. I'm going to say that again. Validate your experiences. Seek support. Educate yourself. Establish boundaries. Focus on self-care, and challenge negative beliefs. Healing from the effects of a narcissistic relationship takes time and patience. By gradually untangling the web of manipulation, rediscovering your true self, and seeking support, you can break free from the cognitive dissonance and reclaim your sense of identity and self-worth. One crucial thing to understand, though, this is crucial, that changing a narcissist is highly unlikely. Their belief in their own superiority and their resistance to introspection makes them resistant to seeking therapy or genuinely desiring change. It's vital to accept this. Shift the focus onto your own healing and well-being. The experience of narcissistic relationships, gaslighting, trauma bonds, finding one's true self, has profound spiritual implications. Within the realm of spirituality, we can find solace, growth, transformation. It begins with recognizing our inherent worth, our divinity, understanding that our true essence is not defined by the perceptions of the narcissist. Our spiritual journey is personal, it's sacred, independent of external influences. Gaslighting and manipulation can create a disconnection from our spiritual truth, leading to confusion and doubt. It's crucial to remember that our spiritual journey is independent and personal. Trauma bonds can distance us from our spiritual strength and connection to the divine, but breaking free involves reclaiming personal power and reconnecting with our spiritual essence. Cognitive dissonance challenges our spiritual understanding, causing us to question our spiritual beliefs. However, this phase offers an opportunity for growth and spiritual awakening. Spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, and mindfulness can provide solace and guidance, allowing for introspection, self-reflection, and connection with higher power or universal consciousness. Through spiritual exploration, we can clear out false narratives created by the narcissist and develop a deeper understanding of our true selves. Spiritual healing involves forgiveness for ourselves and the narcissist, releasing resentment and anger. By nurturing our spiritual well-being and embracing our innate spiritual power, we can transcend the pain of the past and live authentically. Understanding narcissism from a spiritual perspective involves recognizing its origin in a disconnection from one's spiritual nature. Narcissism arises from extreme self-centeredness, when individuals lose touch with their divine essence and interconnection with others in the universe. Spiritual growth and healing for narcissists involves introspection, self-reflection, and a genuine connection with the divine. In the spiritual realm, our souls make deliberate choices to incarnate into specific experiences. Each journey is a part of a larger cosmic tapestry with lessons, growth, and evolution at its core. Narcissistic relationships can be understood in the context of karma, where past actions and choices influence our current circumstances. Karmic contracts and agreements are made with other souls, including narcissistic abusers, to teach valuable lessons and facilitate soul growth, our own and theirs. Reflecting on profound questions can help provide insight into the purpose and meaning of these experiences. It helps us understand the lessons, patterns, and aspects of ourselves mirrored in the dynamics. Narcissistic abuse challenges our self-worth, boundaries, and personal power, inviting exploration and healing of deep-seated wounds. Your codependency needed addressing. Lessons in self-worth and autonomy were needed. Recognizing the karmic lesson and contract empowers us, shifting from victimhood to understanding and growth. It allows us to cultivate self-compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude for the lessons taught by the abuser. Appreciating the role of narcissistic abusers as soul teammates on our journey fosters forgiveness and compassion. It recognizes their struggles and wounds while acknowledging the growth opportunities they provide. By embracing forgiveness and appreciation, we create space for healing, release resentment, and open ourselves to healthier relationships. Understanding the karmic nature of these relationships invites us to view them as opportunities for growth and transformation. It encourages self-reflection and aligning with our soul's purpose. By prioritizing self-care, seeking support, and engaging in spiritual practices, we can transcend the effects of narcissistic abuse and experience healing, empowerment, and spiritual growth. Navigating narcissistic relationships and trauma bonds requires a multifaceted approach, including psychological, emotional, and spiritual perspectives. Recognizing the patterns and effects of narcissistic abuse is the first step toward healing. Understanding the spiritual context, karmic lessons, and the opportunities for growth in narcissistic relationships allows us to transcend the pain and reclaim our power. Trust that your soul chose this path for a reason, and as you navigate through the challenges, you're on a transformative journey towards self-discovery and liberation. Ultimately, the journey of healing from narcissistic abuse is a testament to your resilience and inner strength. By embracing the lessons, finding forgiveness, and appreciating the role of soul teammates, you can pave the way for a future filled with healthier relationships, self-love, and alignment with your soul's purpose. And for those of you listening and wondering if you might be a narcissist yourself, let me assure you, the fact that you're even questioning it is a telltale sign that you're not. You see, narcissists have this uncanny ability to believe that they're perfect, and self-reflection is about as foreign to them as a unicorn riding a unicycle. So if you're pondering your narcissistic tendencies while sipping your morning coffee, rest assured, you're on the path of self-awareness and growth. Keep questioning, keep evolving, and remember, unicorns on unicycles are best left to the circus. They're not your monkeys either. Let them go. And let's light it up with Reverend Dr. Kim.